Good morning. This is lesson 42. The title of our lesson is Volume, so get out your notebook and we'll take some notes. It's not a very long lesson. It's a pretty simple concept. So let's get started. Alright, so for this particular lesson, we're going to find the volume of rectangular prisms. In later lessons, we'll talk about volumes and surface areas of other kind of three-dimensional solids. So let's write down the definition. The volume of a solid is the same thing as a 3D figure, is the total amount of space occupied or enclosed by the solid. That's the definition. It's measured in cubic units such as cubic centimeters, cubic inches, and cubic feet. Right, here we have just an example of what a three-dimensional figure looks like. Here you want to draw this. You've got there are 4 rows of cubes. There's 5 cubes in each row, right? And then there's 3 layers of cubes. So in order to find the volume of a prism, there are 2 basic formulas. They're really the same thing. The first one is volume is equal to capital B H. Capital B represents the area of the base. So whenever you see a capital B, that's the area of the base. And that's different than the lowercase b. The lowercase b is just the measurement of a side of a figure. But when you see the capital B, that's the area of the base of the figure. And then we take the area of the base and we multiply it times the height. And it's the same thing as doing this formula, which is length times width times height. Because the capital B, which is the area of the base, is the same thing as length times the width. So you'll see both formulas. But the bottom line is you're going to do, the easiest one is just length times width times height is how you'll find volume. So let's look at a few examples. Number 1, you want to go ahead and draw this figure in your notebook. We're going to calculate the heating and cooling requirement for a room, and we have to consider the room's volume. So here's a classroom that is 30 by 30 by 10. How do we find the volume? Well, all you have to do is multiply everything together, length times width times height, and the volume would be 9,000 feet cubed. Pretty simple. And make sure you're showing your units because that is important. Alright, so this is example 2, so I want you to draw the figure over there. The sculptor carved a 2-foot cube of ice into a swan. At 57 pounds per cubic foot, what did the 2-foot cubic weigh before it was carved? So this is a problem. We have to find the volume, and once we find the volume, then we're going to multiply the volume times 57 to get pounds per cubic foot. So this cube is 2 by 2 by 2. So you can just multiply 2 times 2 times 2, or you'll see volume for a cube is S cubed. That's a formula that you want to write down. Then you'll just substitute the 2, you'll cube it, and you get 8 feet cubed. So the volume of the ice before it was carved was 8 feet. And the weight would be 57 pounds per foot cubed. So you multiply and get 456 pounds. Okay, so let's go on to another one. Okay, so here we have an example of an irregular shape. This is similar to what any kind of a building would be. You know, buildings that aren't always just rectangular prisms. So this is a 12 by 12 by 15 by 20 by 10. These are all the dimensions of this particular building. The way to go ahead and find the area is to go ahead, remember we said that volume is equal to the base, the area of the base, times the height. So in this one you want to find the area of the base first, and then once we find the area of the base of the building, we're going to multiply that times the height. So we're going to do times h, and this is the height, 10. That's how tall it is. So if we sketch this, this is what we sketch here. We sketch the base. We put in our 12 and 12, and we do 12 times 12. Draw a line there. You get 144. And then here we have 27 by 20. When you multiply that together, you get 540. Then if we add these two together, 540 plus 144, we get 684. That's what that number is. And then we multiply it. So this is the area of the base. This is the capital B here. So this is B, and then the height is 10. So we multiply those together, and we get 6,840 feet cubed is the volume of that building. Okay, so remember, find the area of the base on an irregular figure, sketch the base, find the area, multiply by the height. Okay, so here's our last example. So you want to sketch this out for example 4. Find the volume of that cube. And if you remember the formula, you just take the side and you cube it. So the volume is side cubed. So we would just take in and we would substitute 10, and then we would do 10 times 10 times 10, which should be 1,000. Then we look at our units, centimeters cubed. So the volume of the cube is 1,000 centimeters cubed. And that's it for our lesson. That's basic volume of prisms. Here is the practice set, which you can do now, or we can do it in class. So we will certainly go over it in class so that you understand and practice. I hope you have a great day.